that if we don't rule ourselves, others will rule us. Others will take that power and use it. We have tremendous power as humans, and it's our job to figure out what our boundaries are, how we want to use it, and use it, or we lose it. Hello, my name is Kim, and I thank you so much for being here. We are taking a look at astrology, the symbolism and the psychological profiling, the gemstones that are complementary to each of the degrees. Today we're on Aries, Libra 11. Without further ado, let's get into Aries. Aries 11, the President of the Republic, or the ruler of one's country, a hospital for birds. A flickering fire creates the illusion of laughter as it reflects off a golden effigy. Sunlight illuminating dust in the air. From a slowly moving swan, rippling circles spread out over a pond. The stone here is green Aventurine, and both stones will be in the description if you'd like to take a closer look. Also, I have a short video that describes what I'm talking about when I talk about the crystals. Okay, green Aventurine. It amplifies prosperity and abundance. It enhances our luck, serendipity. It promotes emotional well-being, aids in physical healing and vitality. So on this degree, we are talking about the use of power or not using our power. Can be about the abuse of power. So we're talking about dictators, tyrants, teachers, gurus, and we're talking about ourselves. We're the ones that are supposed to be the ruler of our own country. And what that means is that we need to create boundaries around what is important to us and how we use our own power. Everybody has power. So it is respecting that others are allowed to make their own decisions. And if we're coming from an aspect of possibly shadowy aspects of ourselves, we could try to lord over others, thinking that we're being helpful to them, but it is so that we don't address our own issues of power or helplessness. So that is going on this degree for sure. Also, what is happening there is there's an ability to rise above adversity, to transform, to change. The birds tell us that. The swan tells us that. So birds can fly above the dust in the air, floating above sunlight. So we're able to see things in an interesting way here. So there's a play on lights. There's definitely a theme of birds. Swans, when a swan is in a pond, they may be in one spot, but depending on how smooth the water surface is, their rippling can go far and wide. So it's a use of power, it's a use of sunlight, and an ability to transform ourselves. So one question that you want to think about on this day is, are you using your own power effectively, or are you giving it away? So there's an ability to heal and transform what is heavy. It can be lifted. So that's one of the things that's going on here. And you want to ask yourself, am I ruling myself, or am I being ruled by collective pressure? Okay, that's a big theme on this particular degree and this axis. Okay, it's on both sides. So you want to project confidence. That will help you. If there could be some bullying going on, or others trying to hone in on your territory, you're going to want to stand tall today and stand your ground. We want order. So part of what's going on is there's a desire for there to be discipline and order. So this is a natural degree for leaders. If this is strong in your chart, you probably have very strong leadership abilities. but everybody needs to be a leader on this degree, but we also have to do it with respect that others have the right to lead themselves. But you may be called upon to lead. You may be voted in or voted out. So there's a look at leadership here. The sunlight illuminating dust in the air is talking about disintegration and transformation of what is heavy and lifting it up. So an ability to transform what's heavy, which is beautiful. There's a centralization of power, but the main thing I'm seeing here is make sure that you know what your boundaries are and that you respect others. Let's take a look at Libra. Libra 11, a professor peering over his glasses at his pupils. In a Tibetan monastery, hundreds of candles burning. Tea leaves that form a pentagram. A holy man lecturing to a group of mountains. The stone here is ilmenite. It has magnetic properties. It's a very dark stone, a stone of enlightenment. It can dispel illusions and ancient ghosts of our lives. So on this degree, we'll start with a professor peering over his glasses, and it's knowing that you have information and you want to transfer that information to other people, but you want to do so in a way that they can accept it, meeting people where they are. And it's funny, this morning I was actually looking at my Instagram feed, and a lady that I watch, I enjoy her, she was talking about, she was being called to speak to a group of teenagers about sewing clothes, and she was trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to get through to them? What should I wear? So it's presenting yourself, it's looking up long enough from what you know, whatever information you're trying to convey, and figuring out, okay, how am I going to present myself and the information in such a way that it can be taken in and be useful to others. So understanding who you're talking to and being called upon, again, to teach, to lead is going on here. Holy men, gurus. So this axis is very much about leaders, gurus, teachers. There can be some intellectual snobbery going on, like, oh, look at me, I know more than you. And if you're not careful, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but for me, if I can easily understand something, that's usually the mark of, a good teacher, but everybody sees learning in different ways. So it's, there can be some snobbery going on here, and saying things in such a way that you're speaking above other people. You may think that you're teaching, but you're just spouting. So that could be going on here. Leadership, power, ability, along with responsibility. So when you have power, if you're called upon to be in power, you have the spotlight, people are watching you, and you have responsibilities. So it's owning up to the responsibility that goes with power is going on here. Lenses are key. So like the glasses, your lenses that you're looking through. And are they shields or barriers between people or things, or are they helpful? So realizing that everybody is seeing things from their own vantage point, and that your way is not necessarily the right way. It's right for you. It may not be right for somebody else. And so we want to respect other people's right for separateness. So that is a big theme on this axis. Seeing people as individuals is a theme on this axis. And perceiving order is also a big theme on this axis, definitely on Aries. So seeing order, finding meaning in that order, like that's the tea leaves that create the shape of a pentagram. So if you notice certain things today, make a note of it. What does that mean to you? And that can be different things. It's not necessarily reading tea leaves. I mean, you could be reading tea leaves, but you might notice patterns where you might not have seen them before. Appreciating the motivation and talents of others, see them and appreciate them. That will help you connect and convey what it is that's important to you onto somebody else, so that you can learn from each other and grow together. I mean, that's what would be lovely on this degree. There can be some condescension going on here. Careful of that kind of behavior. And there's the ability to heal with candles, like candle gazing, candle magic. The hospital for birds, and also this Tibetan monk on this degree, the monastery with the candles. So candle healing, light a candle, meditate or pray, looking into the candle, seeing yourself lit up from the inside, casting your shadow out into your world in such a way that you see it with fresh eyes. That can be a healing way to use this energy on this particular axis. So birds, bird song, swans, candles. This is a beautiful degree of enlightenment, but it's also a degree where there can be some confusion and we want things to be orderly, but this is the very beginning of a new phase of being, and so we're not going to have everything just right. And so the key to look at here is to grow in our discipline. If we have power in a certain situation, making sure that we're using it responsibly, knowing when to say no to others if they're stepping on your toes, if they're, in your boundaries. Having boundaries is going to be important today, and projecting confidence. And that if we don't rule ourselves, others will rule us. Others will take that power and use it. We have tremendous power as humans, and it's our job to figure out what our boundaries are, how we want to use it, or we lose it. Thanks so much for being here. That's what I have for you today. Leave me a comment. Let me know what these degrees are saying to you, what these symbols are saying to you. And take care till next time.